All right, today's Tuesday Tidbit is what happened in 2008 to housing. What were the factors that kind of led to it? High level, I say that housing is the virus that caused the Great Recession of 2008. But there's a lot of different things that were really happening. Number one was supply and demand being unbalanced. Okay, there was way too much supply, not nearly enough demand. So we had a supply and demand issue back in the lead up to the housing crisis. If we didn't, anytime there would have been a foreclosure, it would have been gobbled up in a matter of seconds, and the issue probably wouldn't have been as significant as it ended up being. So one was a supply and demand issue. Uh, Fast forward, to 2023, 2024, likely 2025, we actually have kind of the opposite issue where we actually have too little inventory. So people are always talking about like housing bubbles, housing bubbles, housing bubbles. Like so long as supply and demand is in check, that will never become a significant issue. Um, Second thing that happened was loose lending restrictions. It was way too easy to get a mortgage back in the lead up to the housing crisis. There's crazy stories. One of my managers back in the day, he told me a story about how he had some clients in their office and they were doing a stated income loan. And stated income is literally you tell the lender how much you make and the lender never verifies it. They simply go off of what you say. And, you would like to think that people are honest and, truthful. But when it comes to a home, when it comes to where they're going to live, when it comes to being able to invest in real estate, it's not always quite that clean cut sometimes. But what happened was stated income loans, stated asset loans. You would literally tell the lender how much you made, how much you had in assets, and the lender would qualify you for a mortgage based on that. So he told me stories about how somebody would say, "Hey, great, I make $50,000," and he'd run $50,000 through the system, and he'd come back and say, "Sorry, the loan's not approved." He'd tell that to the clients, and the clients would come back and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, did I say 50,000? I meant for each of us, so $100,000 total." Run that through the system. Does it work? Yes or no? Sorry, it doesn't quite work still. Oh, sorry, did I say 100,000? I meant 125,000. Oh, runs it through the system. That happens to work. Yes, it does work with $125,000. There was no verification of anything. It was literally just at their word. What could go wrong? The other kind of problem that arose was a lot of quirky loan terms. I joke that after the housing bubble popped, that lending got rather boring. And when I say that, I'm talking about all these kind of quirky loan features that disappeared almost overnight. Negative amortization loans, where you can make an optional less payment of your normal payment. Hey, here's your monthly payment. If you make a less payment of this, we'll simply add on years to your loan. So they literally just add on years to your loan. Your loan would get longer and longer and longer. There was a lot of interest only loans going on. There was a lot of adjustable rate mortgages, and oftentimes the adjustable rate mortgages did not have an initial period where they were fixed, unlike today's ARMs. They also did not have a limit as to how high they could increase. So they could increase without limit. And that caused a lot of hardship. And all of this kind of added together caused the housing crisis to occur. Some areas were impacted a lot more than others. In Colorado, fortunately, for the most part, not entirely, obviously, but for the most part, we were somewhat protected from it. We didn't have these crazy appreciation years that Southern California saw. We were always tricking, going along fairly steadily at 3 to 5%, very stable. So when the market corrected, we really didn't have anywhere to go. So did not impact everywhere the same way. Colorado was fortunately somewhat protected from the housing crisis. That's a little bit of a history lesson of what was occurring. There's a lot of factors that were going on as well. But that's, top three, I would say. So I hope that helps. Thank you so much. If you know of anybody that might benefit from this, feel free to forward it on. We always take that as a compliment. And thank you all so much. See you next time. Bye.